Hi, and now we move on to our second panel discussion of the day, exploring another important facet of today's ever-evolving media landscape. This session is titled AI Data and Storytelling, Redefining Engagement in Strategic Communication. As artificial intelligence and data-driven insights continue to reshape how stories are crafted, this discussion will explore how strategy, creativity, and technology come together to redefine audience engagement and brand credibility. Our distinguished panelists for the session are Mr. VP Singh, Assistant General Manager, Delhi Metro Rail Corporation. A big round of applause for the guests, please. Mr. Anup Joshi, General Manager, Corporate Affairs, SAIL. Ms. Kritika Saxena, Head Corporate Communications, TCS. Mr. Malenil, Chief Manager, Strategic Communications, Samsung India. And our session chair and moderator, Mr. Bhaskar Majumdar, Head Communication and CSR, AG South Asia. Let's welcome our panel with a big round of applause, please. I would now request the session chair to kindly start the panel discussion, please.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon to everyone. And first of all, thanks a lot to Mediaverse and everyone in the organizing committee to organize this event and inviting us for this session. Lovely crowd and a fantastic set of people to speak with. I'll speak with Mr. Singh first because he is representing DMRC. So what exactly AI means for Delhi Metro?
Yeah, good afternoon to all, and thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. In fact, DMRC is one of the bigger metro network in the world. Currently, we are managing more than 190 kilometers and 390 kilometers and around 280 metro stations in Delhi and NCR. And apart from Delhi and NCR, we are also doing the operations in Mumbai and Patna. And for the Chennai, we are also working for the operations. Now, see, from the day one, the MRC was started in 2002, and from the day one, we are adopting the latest technology in DMRC. If you see, in 2002, we are the first who commissioned the token technology in DMRC. So since day one, we are adopting the latest technology in the DMRC. Right, and for the token, we have developed the various technology in the DMRC, like we have integrated with the National Common Mobility Card, quad ticketing, and unattended train operations. Now, coming to the evolutions, if you see from the 17th century, basically there are different kind of the industry evolution, industry 1.0 to industry of 4.0. So if you see industry 4.0, is now more focused about the AI and data analytics. So DMRC is very need to update their technology. Okay, in DMRC, basically there are the two kind of the platform. One platform is basically for passenger-related services, and another platform is for maintenance-related services. For passenger-related services, earlier if you see, we are having our some portals and a mobile app. Whenever the passenger want to go from station A to B, so he need to type the station name and destination station name. So what we have done, we have recently integrated with a Jane AI-based chatbot. So this we call as a Chetna. So here what you can do, whenever you want to go from location A to location B. So now this Chetna can provide a better result with the route map, so that you can easily make your travel. So we are working for the passenger convenience. And apart from this, there is a one important role for the maintenance. Okay, whenever we are operating our trains with the time and passenger convenience, one important factor is basically a maintenance. In maintenance, if you see, there are some team that who are working at the back end. So we are having in DMRC multiple systems like the signaling system, traction system, rolling stock systems. There are the multiple systems. Okay. If you see the evaluation in the maintenance practices, right? So there are basically different kind of the practices that we have evolved from 19th century to nowadays. Okay. In previous, we are having the hindsight maintenance, okay, on-site maintenance, preventive maintenance, but now it's the age of the predictive maintenance, okay. So basically, how we categorize these maintenance, okay. In DMRC, we have divided the system in two parts, vital system and a non-vital system. Vital system are those systems which are critical for the passenger services, like signaling system. Basically, signaling system is basically used for the passenger safety purpose, how we operate the train. So this is a very important factor. So what we are doing currently, we are doing a preventive maintenance and the condition-based maintenance. Okay, preventive maintenance, nothing else, is based on our some data analytics on the past how. Right, right.
Everyone will talk about data analytics part, and I'm sure yours will be a bit different.
Right, right, right.
So we'll go to the Malay. If you can give us some thought on how AI and technology has been used in your particular industries, which is mobile manufacturing industry. I'm not talking about Samsung at all. You can quote Samsung if you want to, but overall, how the industry is and how you think AI is impacting the industry. Because long back when I used to service Samsung as a client, it used to be more of traditional media. Now things have changed. I'm sure your customers will be much more glued on to short videos and other things. So how it has actually impacted?
So customers all across, it's very industry agnostic actually. Customers all across are now glued to videos, the quick content and all sorts of, and the forms of storytelling are changing. We have to understand really that, whether it is content, campaigns or brand storytelling or marketing, all of it, the crux of it is storytelling at the end of the day. And AI is a part of that storytelling aspect. So AI, if if I talk in academic terms, AI is actually as old as India's independence. 1956, the term was coined. So we are actually, AI is not a competitor, but a co-creator in this journey, because the people aspect we human bring to it, and AI is actually adding all the tools which will be utilized in the form of storytelling, and those tools actually, in last just 10 years, we have seen how it has transformed. So whether it is manufacturing or it is marketing, or it is small scale industries, AI is going to get even more crucial for us. But from the storytelling aspect again, it is actually helping us to understand the human conditioning and the aspect of it. Because what is happening right now is that in the traditional form of marketing or in traditional form of storytelling mostly, there was a lot of guesswork. Just like a couple of weeks ago, Mr. Piyush Pandey is no more with us. All the advertisements, they've come back on our Reels and Instagram and Facebook. We've been watching them and we're really happy about it. But back then, without AI, we have to really know that if today we were making the same ad, it is a lot of guesswork. We throw the content out in the market. We wait for people to know if, or we wait for actually, to understand if people are even liking it, because there is no mechanism of a reel. There is no like, there is no subscriber base really. So today, AI is helping us to know that what is that database giving us. The targeted marketing aspect of it. So with those tools, we are actually making it more engaging. We are making it much better. We are targeting our consumer base.
It's more targeted, basically.
Absolutely. So, as AI being a co-creator, we have to be a part of that journey as our individual marketers.
Absolutely,
and
absolutely.
AI. So this is a journey of co-creation.
Like it or not, AI is here to stay, and we all have to adopt to it.
Yeah.
Whether we take some more time or we easily adopt it, but we have to.
Absolutely, it is a journey of co-creation at the end of the day.
So, coming from storytelling, Kritika, I don't know if my question makes sense or not, but do you think AI is impacting storytelling in a way where creativity is slowly going down and it's all about algorithm, or it's a win-win situation?
I'll put it in this way, Bhaskar. I feel if we completely rely on AI, and I agree to that point that AI has been age old. In fact, TCS is around 55 years. When TCS had 2,000 employees and we have 600,000 now, there was an ad that I saw very recently in our archives, which actually had AI architects and AI agents. And this is, I think, 1964 or something of that sort. So the truth is, yeah. So the truth is, companies have been dabbling in different aspects of AI. What's happened now is we've understood how to completely embrace AI and to its fullest potential. It has come alive completely for, because of around 10 companies around the globe, everybody has adopted and it's become very intuitive. Now, here is the catch. If we completely, answering that question directly, Bhaskar, if we completely rely on AI, and for all the students here, yes, creativity will come down. How will AI actually benefit us? It will make us better, but only if we feed it in the right way and we treat it as assistants. So for instance, you have a lot of data analysis work, right? There were about 5 people doing that actual physical data work once upon a time, little bit of automation here and there. That is where AI will completely make your job easier. So AI becomes your assistant. AI is not effectively going to write it for you. So for instance, on a daily basis, we are churning out press releases and content and video. What I'm seeing, if you take a simple example of a script, or if you take a simple example of a press release or a press note, yes, there is basic automation that can be done, but the soul of the storytelling is the human mind.
Absolutely.
So even basic language is not really going to be written or tweaked in a way that a human can feel it. The point of storytelling and the point of all of this, be it journalism, be it marketing, be it communication, the common trend is storytelling. And when does a story make a difference? When it touches the human mind. So here is the point that we used AI to automate. Okay, is all the data over here? Can we use it to consolidate data? Can we use it to understand the trend, cut down the man hours that we would do to understand research, to do the grunt work? So without sounding very, it's the gadha mazduri ka jo kaam hota tha, that is AI effectively. So
But bottom line is still, human intervention is required.
Necessary. I completely, all the concerns around content writers being out of jobs or journalists being out of job, I hands down reject that completely, because we see it happening on a daily basis. I don't know, I don't know what everybody's experience is, but I've used AI. I have tried to use AI for writing. You have to feel the words you're putting out there. A sentence cannot, so yes, they will clean it for you, they will put the data, they will structure it for you, but your soul needs to be there, and hence often you need to literally remove the para and type it yourself. Because
Absolutely.
So if we can use them as smart assistants, intelligent assistants to make us better, that is where we will actually leapfrog against our peers, because that is where our advantage will be. And the truth is, people don't really know how to do that. They know how to ya to depend on AI completely, or chalo theek hai khud kar lete hain types. Just in a nutshell.
No, I completely agree. In fact, when I was a young executive, I used to go and pitch for a story, and if the story is compelling enough, and if the journalist is taking a pity on me, maybe he will take the story, and the story may appear in the print edition in 4 or 5 days of time. The process, I think, is still the same. Again, when I pitch a story to a journalist, and again, if the story is compelling, if he takes it, first it goes to its website, then the journalist to its, then the website of the publication house to its. By the time it comes in print, maybe 2 days later, the story is already stale. So technology 100% has taken over. Now, how to use technology to our own benefit is something we have to work out on. Especially someone like me who has seen Orkut as the first social media site, and now somehow struggling with Canva. But my son is actually teaching me how to handle Canva. But learning is throughout your life. So coming to Priyanka, again the question will be almost the same, but 2 different sectors. How
Jyoti.
do you? Jyoti, sorry. Sorry.
No problem.
So how do you think that storytelling has got impacted because of AI? I see a lot of people, young people, they use the same data which has been given by the system,
Yeah.
How do you think one can understand how to refine it? Is there a particular way, or is there anything which you use on a daily basis or a weekly basis? Any particular technology which you can suggest? ChatGPT is old. ChatGPT, everyone knows how to use it. How to humanize it is there is another element to it. But what's your experience has been?
Thank you, Bhaskar. So, storytelling in the age of AI, I would say, has, taking on from what the previous speakers also said. For me, I understand it like, you're combining art and science. So we say there is like an art of storytelling. So there is creativity behind it, there is your vision behind it, and then there is the science of storytelling, which is how do you start a story, what is the content, how do you end a story, and then of course data is there, insights are there. So in the development sector, or in the social sector, we have something called, the sector is very heavily dependent on donors, let's say. So regular communication to donors, long time, life cycle communication to donors. I have realized that internal communications the volume that is needed, AI is actually helping manage that volume. So for example, an organization like ours, which has let's say 2 lakh members across India, now to maintain like a communication channel with them year on year, quarterly basis, and something refreshing and something out of the box. So AI, as you said, like as a very successful assistant, helps us automate those tools. One of the things that I feel is helpful is that yes, use AI and get your ideas and use it for storytelling, but then put a few checks in place. So there has to be a few checks and balances in place. So for example, a bias check, so that who's the person who's drafting, and where is the story coming from, and also it has to be factual. And in the end of the day, what we're now calling the humanizers of AI, that there has to be that human touch, because my tonality, my vision has to come across. So I think that is how I look at it, that once the science is done, you bring your art to it, and if you have the art, then you add science to it, and I think you have a full-fledged story.
A few days back I met up with a very old journalist and we were having a same kind of discussion, and the thing he said कि हमारे ज़माने में तो जैसे आप लिखते थे वैसे आप दिखते थे. So with AI you will actually lose your individual thing.
Yes.
And second, when we talk about storytelling, I think everyone of us are storytellers.
Yes.
I will tell you how. I observe my son. He comes from a music fest. He gives me a different story. A different story is given to his friends, to his siblings, to his mother. So he customizes the story and gives it to different audiences if you take it in that way. So sir, आप बताएं सेल में AI how it's been implemented or used in general. PSUs the usage of data is not that much, but now everyone has to adopt to it. So how do you think things are changing?
Things are really changing over the years. Just we're talking about, years back when I joined, it used to be all handwritten. Matter of fact, when I joined, there were hardly any even computers in the first place. So we started with WinWord or WS5. Then subsequently, then we had the internet coming up. So a lot of inputs where you could get some information from the net. Now with the ChatGPT by team members, they are using it very, very successfully. So across both my internal and my external communications, whether it be advertising, whether it be my exhibition panels, whether it be my house journals, whether it be my social media or my website, they are using it humongously. But like most of the colleagues have said, it has to be a very good, हिंदी में word होता है समावेश बहुत अच्छा उन दोनों का होना चाहिए. There should be a very good linking between the two. Like my colleague here on the right said, that it has to be a helper. All of the colleagues have said that it has to be a helper. So there has to be checks and balances in place. So I'll give one small stray example. As social media people, we asked them to make a tweet on the social media for our coils. See, SEAL makes various types of steel coils. They are hot roll coils, they are cold roll coils, then they are then they are stainless steel coils. All are coils. So we briefed them that you make a small, tweet on coils and how they have been, utilized in the Indian industry. Now they used AI and they came up with something which I thought was not correct. So like from the old school of thought, I generally tend to, before releasing anything, again to read it twice, thrice. So when my colleague, the junior who was handling it, he says, this looks okay. When I go, no, somehow this, I have a doubt somewhere. So I asked my plant people, of course it delayed my tweet for a couple of hours, but I sent to the plant, they said, no, it's the wrong representation, you should have me like that. So, like all have agreed, you have to have a human touch. So, and to like, commuters, the word is, garbage in, garbage out. So
quality control has to be done by a human.
In the very initial step itself, before you use the technology, you have to know what you wanted the output to be like. So that's what I think.
So, Malay, especially for your industry, how do you think that, authentic content or the recent stories about deepfake has impacted the industry? Is there a way to manage it, or is there a specific way to not let it happen? And not let it happen will not actually will happen, because nowadays anyone with a good phone is an influencer. So how do you think it's impacting your specific industry?
That's a very important question. Thank you so much. But what I feel about this is that in the last segment, as we were talking of AI and people, I still believe people come first. And that intervention only people can bring. So from a very human-centric approach, and data is a very huge part of it for whether it is deepfake or all the content that goes out, not just in media with all the media websites, but also in corporate, because corporate newsrooms are there. So on that, there have to be checks and balances which are controlled and curated by people themselves. And while we can use AI for that data part, because see, data in terms of deepfake is that compass, which is, mostly what happens is that every time I have to think about answers, I go back to the journalism's 5 Ws and 1 H, because I was a journalist myself. So, in terms of deepfake, what happens is that when data comes into picture to sort of curate that authenticity, we always know how to take that route. But the issue comes where? Because data will tell us what is that compass which we need to create for ourselves and attack that particular point. And the sort of pool that we have for creating checks and balances for deepfake, it is so huge that it is not possible. It's not possible for our AI tools that we are creating, because in terms of AI also we have to understand that it is a very preliminary stage right now that we are a part of, and it is, as people, as communicators, it is a huge responsibility on our part that we ourselves get our hands dirtied. We do that, borrowing from her, we do that Gadha Mazduri ourselves to not let that happen. So I feel that's a responsibility is on us, and to use that compass very, very diligently and correctly.
I completely agree. Misinformation is such in a technology-driven world. Like, a few days back, there was a tweet which was kind of negative about my company, and I was like, as a PR guy, I will respond to it, I will give a statement. My IT guy said that, sir, if you respond, you unnecessarily is amplifying it. Now, it was a shocker to me. So anything you want to add on how authentic information or misinformation can be amplified or not amplified? Anything happened in your recent past which can give us some kind of insight?
So we have 600,000 people. That also means that there is at least half of those on Reddit, on Quora, so on and so forth. What AI interestingly really helps is fast churning out. So of course we had a dedicated team of people, but they are now doing the intelligent work. Where AI is really helping is fast churning out of just assessing the data. That that listening tools have become significantly more intuitive than they were even 3 years ago, for that matter. So yes, that AI applies over here. Where I think as corporates, as citizens, we need to step in is give a lot of importance to the compliance of these. So what I actually spotted was a lot of these were just bots. Now, some of these rants on Quora and Reddit were, by that we got our compliance team involved. Here there is the security team that is necessary, the risk management team that is necessary, who have the right tools and people as well. We actually realized that there's, okay, if not half, a a good 20-30% were just automated bots. It could be, you know, targeted vested parties who are trying to do
Absolutely,
that
it happens,
across
yeah,
the
yeah.
board. Now here is where, again, that is what the point you said is so true, and all of us I think nodded. We've all had these experiences in our journeys, that beyond a point, if something is very damaging, then yes, there is a statement required, there is intervention required, because the truth is, media has also, there is a little lack of churning of stories. Media is not able to get the sources that they did 10 years ago, so they're hungry for news. They are relying, the truth of the matter is that journalism is also relying significantly on cases on Reddit and Quora. Now, as organizations, you don't have control over a 20-year-old journalist writing on a Reddit account. That could not be completely inaccurate. What you can do is make sure that the inauthentic ones go through the right channels of compliance where you report it, all of that. But one thing that is lacking in organizations these days is you need to have a dedicated compliance team that is able to debunk this in real time. You're able to debunk this in a very agile manner. So you know that, okay, there is going to be that one vested one which is going to get a pickup by one particular journalist
Absolutely,
sitting on the desk
absolutely.
saying that, oh my God, this is very important. And then before you know it, it's viral. And वो 3 घंटे का time होता है आपके पास.
Yes,
And
yes.
before you know it, it's gone and it's fire. And उसके बाद आप react करोगे, you are probably reacting to a bot. It's absolutely vested, not really relevant. If you are able to create a compliance team in place, which is a part of the business function and has correlation with the comms and marketing team and PR team and PR agency, that is fine. But the business needs to be involved in debunking this.
Absolutely.
And trailing that. Yes, there may be a genuine employee's concern in this particular case, right? Reddit Quora, if we are talking about. If there is a genuine employee, companies can actually use this to understand what is happening on the ground. So here it is a boon. The second it is being used for the wrong reason, there could be a completely invalidated thing. It could be a one-sided thing. But are we giving them are we giving them that time to listen to them, to hear their concerns, use AI to do that, and use AI to actually debunk things faster?
Yeah, yeah.
If you have that team in place, which has HR, which has all the necessary business team. So the compliance needs to no longer be a comms function. It cannot be the comms head and the social media head sitting and getting
it
this
has to be a
together.
combination of all the
It
departments.
has to be a process in place with SOPs, with checks and balances, with a complete flow of how fast the information can be debunked, whatever the processes will be. But I actually feel that you need to have AI compliance policies as a part of your day-to-day function,
Absolutely.
which can then, and again, all those checks and balances, responsible AI, ethical AI, the cybersecurity team need to be involved to make it a business function where there is fast churning out of any kind of misinformation, any kind of deep fakes. How do you know your CEO is not getting deep faked on some random website? So if that team is in place and tools are in place, you have that action for every, जैसे crisis में होता है. Crisis के लिए all of us know we have very detailed policy. Every single stakeholder is mapped. Every situation is handled beforehand.
होल्डिंग स्टेटमेंट पे ऐसा बना होता है.
Exactly. This needs to be every action कि आपका CEO, chairman का कहीं पे वो चले गया. You need to know what each team is going to do, what each stakeholder needs to do, how you need to react very fast. So that policy making needs to now happen at a business level.
Policy, and I think the integrated work by every department is
By
very
every
much
department.
necessary. Just few days back in one of a reputed company, I will not name that company, the HR team was trying to evaluate a particular software. And while doing so, rather than going into the demo mode, they went to the live mode. And the next day morning, all 500 employees, including the CEO, got a resignation acceptance mail. Now, someone has put it on Reddit, and Hindustan Times and Times 70 has done story out of it. So, exactly what you said was right, that nowadays, because of breaking news and because of lack of credible news, people take it up from social media. Otherwise, we can never think that someone will pick up a story like this from Reddit. And I got to know because the Copcom guy is a good friend of mine. He just called me up, said how to handle it. I say I am also not aware how to handle it, because these are things which are very new to me. So Jyoti, similar thing, anything you have ever come across, and what's your thought on that? I completely agree on this part that a integrated team has to work,
Yeah.
a company policy has to be there,
Yeah.
and people has to be cool. Yeah, they should not react, because once you have done something in, in internet, it's your visible, your virtual footprints will be always there. It cannot be taken out.
So we say this analogy of like कि हवा नहीं लगनी चाहिए आग को और ना because the more you put it in the wind, it's going to grow. So the moment you come out of the conversation, you stop it there. So I think that is the first go-to for any of the communicators then that are working with brands. As far as authenticity with respect to storytelling comes in, I think there is so much dissonance now even in visual storytelling कि अब नहीं पता चलता है कि जो देख भी रहे हैं, like you can't even trust your senses.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So there is a lot of dissociation, I feel like, on a little bit also like a psychological level on the part of the audience also. So I think this is going to be like a marker or like a standard that our industry is also going to sooner or later have to adopt, that we very clearly and transparently we publish our fact checking or whatever is the protocol that we've put in place, that anything that is on our portal is trustworthy. So what is the definition of our trust and how do we execute that trust? I think that needs to be in the public domain. At the same time, if somebody points a faulty communication, there has to be a readdressal mechanism in place, like on a policy level, that if that comes up, it goes in the system and you're able to deal with it. So it's not like a challenge every time like a new kind of scenario comes up, because with AI everything is unexpected right now. One challenge looks very different from one another. So these are the two things I think from the start. At the start of the process, if you're sure that okay, until unless this content meets XYZ my parameters, I am not going to publish it. And once something is out there, if there is a mistake, then having that ownership that okay, I'm going to own up to my communication, or I'm going to rectify it in this way. So I think we are at a very nascent stage, but I think for now this is a practice that we can.
Yes, technology is changing every day. While we are having this session, maybe there will be some other social media site which will come up, especially people like me and Anup sir. It's very difficult for us. But having said that, especially with the kind of work you do, you have so many donors.
Yeah.
Do you think, and do you also use AI to customize specific messaging to specific age group or demography, or is there a possibility of doing so in near future?
See, to be honest, vis-a-vis like particularly my organization, it's not in practice yet, but we are learning. We have
Eventually it will happen.
Yes, eventually that is where it is going, that every donor base has a different kind of age
Yes,
group.
yes.
Rotary initially used to have a lot of senior members, but now a lot of women members, young members, school and college students. So everybody has a different kind of palette of consuming information. So yes, it is being tested in global communications for sure.
Yeah.
So for example, any communication, let's say if I do in English, we also simultaneously do it in 16 other languages globally.
Oh.
Simultaneously. So if we have a Rotary event, let's say like an international event, so whatever is happening on the stage, it is right then and there, it is being transcribed into 16 languages, and you have live automation of localization. AI is actually cutting through the clutter for that for all of us. So our spokesperson or our head of the office can be on the stage talking in English, but the people listening in the audience will be hearing it in Chinese, Taiwanese, Korean, in all of the respective languages.
That's the power of technology.
Yes. So we have started using it. We have started testing it with audiences and seeing what is the reciprocation, because there is a little bit of automation, right? Like you lose the personal touch when there is like a transcribed or like a translated material. But we're seeing how audiences are reacting to it. We're using it in really big events, and to also high net individuals, with high net donors. We're trying to see how can we customize what are the kind of communications that they would like to listen to, and experimenting with video, written, all kinds of things.
Whatever the modes of
Yeah.
communication
So we are
there are.
testing it, we are learning right now, and we are seeing that even
I think you will keep on learning because this is going to happen every 3 months. Things will
But
change.
India, I think, would be one of the first markets where we test it out because most of the social good is actually concentrated in global south. So that is automatically going to come here. So we see that happening, and I think it's going to really revolutionize the donor communications because it's a very neglected category right now. Everybody is interested in only just the first round of donation.
Yeah, true.
To make
true.
repeat donations and repeat
Yes.
customers is very difficult, and I think consistent communication to donors is really going to change the game.
You
Even
rightly
for
said, yeah.
corporate, institutional, individual, any kind of donors.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
So now, Mr. Singh, I will come back to you, and your question doesn't have to be very specific to media. You can talk about the technologies you use in Metro. How important is data analytics for Delhi Metro?
Yeah, it's a very good question. Data analytics is very much important for the DMRC. If you see, there is a different process to analyze the data. Okay, data analysis is one of the steps. Before the data analysis, we need to get the data from the different sources. Okay, so before data analysis, we need the data sources. First, we collect the data. Okay, this is considered as a big data. Then another important step, this is basically data mining. Data mining is a process to categorize the data. Okay, what attribute? Like you need to categorize the data, you need to index the data. So there are the multiple technologies are available in the AI, like the ML, deep learning, and the LLM, so that you can do the data mining. But if you see, actually I have developed a multiple project in DMRC with the AI. But in my experience, whenever we do the data mining and the data analysis using the AI, we face the certain challenges. What are the challenges? Whenever we used to fix these attributes, okay, once we get a result from the AI, the results are not authentic whenever we prepare them manually. Okay, so what we are doing, we simply, this is my suggestion, okay, so what we did, first step, whatever data is available with us, we simply do the data mining and verify the data. As my colleagues say, data authenticity is very much important. So there must be a human interference would be required. So whenever data you are getting from the any sources and you are using the AI, okay, so human intervention is very much required so that you can review the data and you can check the authenticity of the data, right? So different process, different steps are there for the data analysis, data mining and data analysis. Okay, in DMRC we are having a multiple system, especially our AFC system. AFC system is automatic fare collection system. This is basically our core system and the main system. Okay, whenever you use our Delhi Metro, first you need to get a ticket. Either ticket may be in form of the QR or the smart card. So this data is very important for us. Okay, from this data, we do the analysis on the regular basis. How we can operate our trains so that we can schedule our trains in peak hours and non-peak hours. So this data analysis is very important for us so that we can give the more convenience to our passenger and we can facilitate the journey more convenient.
No, I completely agree, sir. You know, especially I also work with a lot of metro projects, and you know, data analytics has actually helped us to understand that, you know, किस sector में कितना ज़्यादा traffic है, किस time में कितना ज़्यादा traffic है, and then customizing your, you know, schedules according to that is very much important, and that is what you know, AI data analytics brings us to us. Anything, Malay, anything you think which is helpful for your particular industry or maybe Samsung when it comes to data analytics? I'm sure it will be, because your customer base is huge. And how do you analyze it? Is there any specific tool you use, or is there any specific way you actually, you know, evaluate the data crunching which you use?
data is a part of all segments in the industry, and as communicators, I feel like with the discussion we've been having for a while, it is a great time for us to be communicators in the times that we are living in, because Jyoti said that, at Rotary they're learning. But as communicators, I think we are also learning in form of whether it is with regard to data. Now, how it is impacting the industry is that data is very important to study behaviors.
Yes.
But the flaw that data has, one thing it can't do, is that it cannot study emotions. So that is where it.
Very true.
So that is where it is very important for us to do that behavior management constantly. One example of it can be that every year when around December, I was actually the moment. Yesterday we were talking about it, and so December is arriving. So I mentioned that Spotify rap is also coming. So Spotify every year at the end, they give you a summary of the rap, all the music that you've listened to. These are the 5 artists you listen to. Spotify.
Huh.
They do that for you. So in a way, it is study of the behavior. But how it is making you feel at the end of the day, it is that emotional connect that the brand has built with you.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
so those tools have to be utilized in a way that there is no gap between behavior and emotion, while they're two very different things. But that gap needs to be reduced with our intervention using AI.
Anything any of you want to add on to it?
Just to add to what Malay was saying, so I think they're calling it the empathy algorithm. That, so what they're saying is that you have your data brings the algorithm, and then.
I'll use this phrase in every other session I'll attend.
Yes, so I think that's what they're calling it, that you put a tinge of empathy into it. As far as data analytics is concerned for, the social sector, I just wanted to add that, how in communications we always say that if your product is not very good, communications can only take you so far.
Yeah,
I
true,
feel
very
like
true.
data analytics is just upping the game for the product that we have in the social sector, because it is completely changed how health, education, livelihoods, any of these projects are created, mapped, studied, scaled, data collected. Everything has revolutionized. So we are actually getting better, more concentrated, personalized stories to tell. And just to add to what Malay said last, that thing between emotion and behavior, I think there needs to be just a demarcation that, okay, we are doing this to personalize our content like a personalized song playlist in Spotify, or are we exploiting vulnerabilities because now you know too much about the user? So I think that is the, that is the demarcation that needs to happen. So yeah.
To continue what he said, see, also data, it has to be used judiciously. For example, one of my social media tweets garnered over 20 lakhs, organic views. The response of my team would have been, so this is the sort of content that we should keep on having. So it was a specific content about the INS Vikrant and how sales steel has been used exclusively in that. And the people felt had a resonance with the defense, with India's Atmanirbhar Bharat and all that. But I said, look, this is a stray case. And to make a stray case, every time case is not possible.
It's not possible, yeah.
So we need to have a judicious thought there also, that how much of data can be used every time.
Yes.
It could give us guidelines as to what sort of news or views are being, liked, but cannot be the barometer of continual use of the same.
True, very true.
Just to give one quick example, how data analytics and AI can actually make you better. So obviously AI is very, very relevant in coding. So TCS has this, it's actually won a Guinness Book of World Records. It's Code Vita. It's a coding competition. It's one of the world's largest coding competitions. Now there was an interesting case study that came up in Code Vita. Now obviously you have different skill sets, different proficiency. There was team A who was at the highest degree of proficiency in terms of skills, in terms of knowledge, in terms of data understanding, research, everything. Fantastic team. This team in fact had won several contests around the world. There was another team, I won't say average, but this team had never won any competition. They would be at number 15, number 20 at some points. again, the skill sets, very traditional coders, very, who don't really have the kind of skill sets that the team A had. Let's call it team X. Now, team X was equipped with AI and data analytics tool. That team came number 2 in a competition where they would have come 25. So, and again, it's not vis-a-vis, there were many different layers, but again, that team A came number 1. So it's still human skills. But the team X, who would have been average otherwise, actually became better. So they used AI to become better. Now here again, even in these scores, all our assessment, our empathy, we still don't have the scale beyond a certain point. So I do feel that there is going to be a point where we can use personalization, something as basic as what Zomato did. Mother's Day, Father's Day, I don't know, my sister came to me and said we should do this for mom, and we just lied to her that Vidya Balan gave a bite. And she bought it. We told her finally after some time, but she had...
But that was a good campaign, huh?
That was an amazing campaign. So, I actually feel there will be a point that we can, with all these policies, ethical tools in place, we can marry the best of our empathy into that AI to make us and our campaigns and our positioning to the world that much better.
True.
Significantly.
True. Now, coming to a very important question, nowadays everyone says that every employee of a company is a brand custodian, right? Now, do you think there is a requirement of upskilling or reskilling? May not be the entire workforce, but at least the senior and middle management to understand what AI is, how they should respond, how they should behave in social media. I have seen, I'll not quote a company, in one of the companies where a general manager quoted something against the government, whereas their 100% of our business is governments oriented. Now these are things which are becoming slowly the ultimate requirement, or we can still let go with the old thought. In our company, we are trying to get almost 3,000 employees going through a particular course. May not be a very elaborate one because everyone is not so high tech to understand the elaborate one. But I would like to hear your thoughts from different industries we represent.
See, as a sale is concerned, we have almost 60,000 manpower. And it's a diverse set of employees from the top management to the bottom-most employees, which is just a classy or non-executive level L1. So obviously training all of them is near impossible. So what we are doing is at least the systems and procedures we are trying to improve with the AI. The latest 2 days back only we had a seminar in which we had organized a seminar, and we called around 30, 40 different PSUs, their metals management group. And we are using agentic AI to make softwares for ease of processing, improvement of processing. So we are, for example, we have a purchase, so there will be entire purchase procedure will be through an agentic AI system. So there will be less of individual people coming in, less of hindrances into work, and faster decision making. And this is being percolated to the top management. So, and it has the support of the top management. So in a way, we are moving ahead with times, keeping in view that AI is the future, like you rightly said, and how we can harness it to improve the efficiencies of the company and the efficacy of the working. Thank you.
I'm actually going to, so if you type TCS, there's going to be upskilling and reskilling at the topmost of the list. So that is actually something that is literally on top of everything that we're doing right now. Like I said, 600,000 people, it's a massive scale. How the company, about 2 years ago, we were very clear that we want to train the entire workforce. The entire workforce is actually trained in basic skills of AI.
Basic skills, yeah.
So the first step was to understand, okay, what do we have in the processes? Do we have those tools in place? The biggest hiccup that all of us saw when we started understanding, does our marketing team even have access to tools to actually rework on it's a complicated process to do. Do we have Copilot? We actually didn't 3-4 years ago. Do we have the softwares in place, the AI tools in place to completely make a video from scratch? It's not ideal, but it does save up time, it does save up manpower and cost. So the first was an assessment, which is very, very necessary, that what are the tools we have, what are the tools we don't have. Second step was equipping customized AI tools for departments at scale. Third was actually reskilling and upskilling them at scale again. So there were actual environments created, there were AI gardens created where people can actually experiment. So available at a intranet portal. So it took some time to happen. And it's a little, you need to definitely go through your first 2-3 steps, which takes some time to get there, because you also have to have security in place. You can't give access to employees towards a huge AI environment where they can play around with tools without the security in place. So once the checks and balances happen, it is very necessary to create that entire experimentation culture so you can pick and choose. And at that point, that one-to-one interface to be able to create that. So upskilling at scale, I think, is something that every company needs to do. It will be tweaked. It will be different for everybody.
It will be different for different section of employees,
exactly.
But it's required, and especially in our company, we also have 3,000 people. A basic understanding, a basic course on how to behave on social media is mandatory for everyone.
Yes, I was actually coming to that point. So this, I was talking about AI. Now we have, so how do we upskill, or how do we communicate to our employees? We have these learning tools, and we have these courses that they take, the talent acquisition group and the learning group takes care of that. But beyond a certain point, how many of us as employees go and sit and fill tools? They can be mandatory courses. You will do it in a course of, all of you are going to go into the workforce, you'll know how annoying these courses are. So the truth is, I feel we are far away from inculcating brand consciousness and the ability and empowering these employees. Are we actually empowering them? Are we really communicating to all these people and giving them the tools needed to feel that, oh my God, this is my company. I hold the same responsibility as the CEO of the company. I am one of the brand custodians. Bolna theek hai, but you need to empower them, and it's not necessarily through money or through, you have to give them the tools, the ability, the learning tools, whatever it is for every company. But I feel till we are not able to empower each and every single employee, this thing will always have a gap. Yes, we will teach them. Will they do it? We don't know. Consciousness ho sakta hai. It is very easy for us as communicators to tell them. I feel it is important to have that system in place and those perks in place to give them that this is your company, and that empowerment has to be, again, that empathy angle comes here in a big way. So if you're able to do that, I feel in maybe 2 years from now, 3 years from now, I feel companies can really take that on. And in the world of Reddit, Quora, in all these social listening tools, it is going to be a challenge. But if we can ace this, that can be the big differentiators that comms and PR can have.
Absolutely.
That's the thing. At least in our corporate affairs department, what we have done is we have been, pushing our youngsters to take up these courses. So we are motivating them for self-development. Of course, not as an organization at least. So as far as communication tools are concerned, so they are using these tools. For example, we used to have a house journal, a video house journal that we make out every month, in which we have anchors, and we take people from across the plants, station in the plant with the backdrop of a production process actual happening.
So that everyone is involved.
Excuse me?
Everyone is involved.
Yeah, that's right. So more than 100 episodes had happened. So the boy who handles it came to me, sir, I want to do this time an AI thing. And he did such a wonderful job, utilized 3-4 different AI tools, one for creating of a human anchor. So it was so realistic, we couldn't make a differentiation whether it was real or different, an AI generated. Then he used a voice modulator. Then he used, for gestures, another app. Then for voice laying over, he used another app. And that has generated huge amount of views. So, of course, like you rightly said, we need to promote people and motivate people. This is as far as the AI tools is concerned in our department, because we handle all these activities. But training per se as an organization, we have these e-learning tools. We have tie-ups with as an organization with LinkedIn. And there are many free learning tools that are available. Any employee can take up. Thank you.
Something to add to this is that, which is why internal employee communications has become really crucial. Like, while, of course, the external communications we've been talking about for a while, but internal communications is really crucial. And one aspect of it is, while we can give them all sorts of modules, all sorts of trainings, all sorts of guidance and whatever AI tools also, but employees, because these are times when there's a huge Gen Z workforce out there, the kind of Gen Z hiring is happening. The employees, no matter they're millennials or Gen Z, can't be suppressed in a way. Their voices can't be suppressed. By that suppression, I don't mean that they can't write about politics on their social media or social issues, but it is a crisis for the brand, no matter what they say. And in most cases, we have seen that these crises, they don't erupt from the CEO or MD saying something. Yeah. It could be, an intern saying something for that brand. So it can be a huge soup. So to sort of channelize that, we need to have internal communication channels where the voices can be heard.
Absolutely.
Whether it is, whether it could be any kind of modules it is very different for different brands, but internally the employees need to feel that their voices are heard. There have to be channels where they have interactions with the leadership, they have interactions with their own bosses. Sometimes it's very critical. And internal those employee resource groups are very important. And these channels, actually what they do is they just release that energy which is which on their own personal social media they're not able to share something about the brand. And there can't be and here's a dichotomy, which is that while the moment you leave office, you're constantly sharing a selfie which you took in the metro or in the Uber or wherever, you're taking photo of the sunset, whatever you're posting. But right before that, those 8 hours while you're at work, how is it possible that they're not able to post anything? So that huge gap again needs to be filled. They have to be internal communication channels. They're able to share their voice, they're able to share their feelings and feel empowered from a very psychological point of view, where they feel heard and empowered. Yeah.
Just to add, I was saying the same thing. Just to add to the thing that Malay just said, an example of putting a system like this in place is something that we follow. We called it the change management module. It is applied in anything. It can be a change in finance systems to technological systems to even now communication systems. But there is a continuum that is built, and there is a team which is dedicated to ensuring that this change is adopted and adopted in a good way. So that is really required, because we all have our full-time functionalities and roles, and even if we want to be brand custodians and be very vigilant all the time, it is not possible. So I think, like, giving it the due importance it deserves, setting up a system in place, minds in place who've read brain theory, who know how to ensure adoption of a change, and actually also help fight with the resistance, and wherever issues are coming up, tackle with them. So I think that actually structuralizes this. There are a lot of lessons in corporate that we tend to forget, but I think at times structure and putting operations and hierarchies in place can actually help us in this. Yeah.
So we had a lovely session. We can go on, but I am sure that audience also wants to take a break. One last thing from each participants. One piece of advice for the younger generation. My piece is that if you're not confident, don't write anything in social media, because even if you delete, your digital footprint is there. A short 1 minute, if you can.
I'd like to say that there's a lot of noise. From that noise around AI, and not just AI, around data, around all topics, around jobs, because you'll be out of college and you'll be looking to joining places and all. So there's a lot of, out of that noise, decide what is important for you. Don't be a part of that noise, and don't be scared of that noise, because that can really harm your confidence, that can really take a toll on your ideas that you have right now, and keep that zeal alive. And what is really important here is to not be scared of AI, because there's a lot of, again, I use the word noise around that. People are, maybe losing jobs and whatnot, we hear on social media constantly. So being a co-creator with AI will really help you out there. Yeah.
One personal tip that I use, and I think that, I think like people starting in communications or wanting to do this work in journalism or otherwise, before going to like a solution, like an automated solution, like if there is anything that you're wanting to write, I take like 5 seconds or 20 seconds with me and I think what is my brain coming up with. So I first see that what is my brain coming up with, and then if I want to go to AI, want to go to ChatGPT or Google or figure out a thing, and then I actually kind of assess that how close was I, how far was I. So I think just keep enforcing that, okay, what is it that's coming out of me in terms of creativity or in terms of content. I think that's a muscle that we need to build ferociously now with AI, because we are going to get blunt very, very soon. So yeah, that's something, yeah.
To all the students of the Mass Comm and Journalism course, first foremost is that whichever industry you join, you should have a good understanding of the organization. You need to have a knowledge base. Only then you can use an AI. AI, of course, as a tool you can learn for any making reports or generating stories. But first of all, most important is whichever organization you join, have a thorough understanding of the working of it, what all it entails, what all it has, and so that you are a domain expert, and then only use the AI to further your stories and articles.
So 2 quick things. One, I think we are all storytellers here. Don't lose the simplicity of a story. So in anything you do, anything, you're using AI, you're using social media, whatever you are using, whatever tools you use, AI ke baad there'll be Metaverse, there'll be some 15 other things, there's quantum, which we haven't even started exploring. Don't lose the simplicity of storytelling. When you go out into the workforce, there is so much jargon, especially within these worlds, marketing, communication, journalism, PR, there is a lot of jargon. Get to the point of the story, never lose the simplicity and love of the story, number one. Number two, brand yourself smartly using all these tools, but smartly and responsibly. You need to know when to step back, you need to know when to be conservative, and it's very important to be conservative sometimes. It may not feel like it, but keep your eye on the long game. Don't look at the short game. 10 years from now, you know you'll win. You may not win immediately, you may not get the money immediately. Look at it 10 years from now.
Actually, AI can give the broad area like machine learning, deep learning, LLM, and Gen AI and agentic AI. So whenever you are using the AI, any type of the AI, so you need to ensure that whatever information you are training your model, this information is confidential and sensitive in nature. Don't try to use this open AI. So you can use your own AI. So this is very much important whenever you are using your organization or your company information on any AI model, okay, or you are training that model, these information may become a public. Although they claim they will not use this information for public use, but it would be better if you use your organization AI. If your organization using their own AI, so you can update your model based on the requirement. Also the AI, there is another sector apart from the content, like the storytelling, whether you are generating the visual content, text content, video content, there is one important area that we give a lot of opportunity as a industry specific, like predictions. Predictions are very much important. For an example, every industry, you are using the certain type of automation based on the machines, okay? There is some practices like for the maintenance, okay? So these maintenance practices involve the human, okay, man hour. So how you can use this AI to reduce this man hour? So this is very much important. So you can use this AI by multiple ways so that you can reduce the manpower also. Just for an example, in DMRC recently we are working on the predictive maintenance. Earlier we are using the preventive maintenance. Okay, the system which are critical in nature, whenever system got faulty. So what we are doing, we simply require a downtime. Whenever we need a downtime, okay, so this can impact our operations. Okay, if we implement the AI, so what we can do, simply we can predict the failure, right? If you are predicting the failure, so you can reduce your downtime. So there are multiple sectors you can use the AI. So I encourage you all, please understand the usage of the AI and don't put any confidential and the sensitive information on the AI platform. Thank you so much.
So be authentic, don't share sensitive information. Thanks a lot to all our panelists, and now I'll hand over the mic to.
Thank you to our eminent panelists and our moderator for engaging and enlightening discussion on how AI and data are reshaping the communication strategy. Your insights have beautifully illustrated how technology can enhance and not just replace the art of authentic storytelling. I would now request Professor Dr. Pardeep Kumar, Pro Vice Chancellor, Manav Rachna International Institute of Research and Studies, and Dr. Shilpi Jha to kindly felicitate the panelists. And I request the panelists to kindly remain on the stage. A round of applause, please. Mr. VP Singh, Assistant General Manager, Delhi Metro Rail Corporation. A round of applause, please. Mr. Anup Joshi, General Manager, Corporate Affairs, SAIL. Ms. Kritika Saxena, Head Corporate Communications, TCS. Mr. Malenil, Chief Manager, Strategic Communications, Samsung India. Mr. Malenil, Chief Manager, Strategic Communications, Samsung India. Mr. Bhaskar Majumdar, Head Communication and CSR, AG South Asia. Ms. Jyoti Rai, Senior Communications and PR Strategist, South Asia, Rotary International. Yeah. And now the moment many of us have been eagerly waiting for, the prize distribution ceremony.
I just request everybody to be on stage for 2 more minutes. I'd like to update my panelists. So yesterday was the day of Mediaverse Day 1 for the students. And we had some very interesting competitions for them around the theme of the event. And I'm just announcing the prizes, and I would love if you all could hand them over the prize. So we had a PR Shark Tank, and the first prize goes to Manas and his team from IZOMS Noida. Deepali Janged, Aman Saroj, Pranjay, and Manas Chaube. Are they here? They haven't reached? All right. The second prize goes to the team from Manav Rachna International School, Sector 46, Prisha, Joshi, Sia Sachdeva, and Myra Bhatia. Are they here? Okay. All right. Then for Slogan Shastra, the first prize goes to Parit Tiwari. Come, Parit. Bhaskar, if you could just hand over the award to Pari for writing the best slogan yesterday. That's Second prize goes to Gumanshu Chaudhary. Kritika, if you could just hand over to. The next category of award is for Canvas of Credibility. Mr. Joshi, if you could please come forward to hand over the award to the winners here. First prize goes to Anshika Kaushik. And second prize goes to someone who's very intently clicking the pictures right now, Aditya Arora. Congratulations, Anshika and Aditya. The next competition was something called Behind the Buzz, where they had to prepare a 360-degree PR strategy for a film launch and promotion. And the first prize goes to Vivek Jha. And Mr. Singh, if you could just come and hand over the award to Vivek. And we seem to have a serial winner here because the second prize again goes to Aditya Arora. Aditya again. The last competition, called Crisis Clicks, was a real-time crisis communication simulation strategy game. And Jyoti, please come over for award. Malay, you too, please come. And the first prize goes to Kish and Tino. Come, Kish and Tino. My reluctant team was not even ready to participate in the first place, gets the first prize here. Sure, I'll announce the name. Sure. And the second prize goes to Navni Jha and Ujjwal Bhatia. MRIA Sector 46 team, which won the second prize for PR Shark Tank, has just arrived. So may I call upon Prisha Joshi, Sia Sachdeva, and Myra Bhatia on the stage to take the prize for PR Shark Tank. Congratulations, girls. Do we have Manas as in team? Manas and his team here? No. All right. So that's all from Mediaverse Media Fest. Congratulations all the winners, and we'll come back with some more interesting competitions in the next edition. All the best for that as well. We now stand together for a group picture followed by vote of thanks. Thank you.